The last several years, my dad, Chad, and I have made trips into camp to check on things, to haul equipment in if we need it. This particular trip today was just to go in and check things out. On our way in, we always find something that slows us down. This had a little bit of an avalanche that come down and people got stuck trying to get around. It's a pretty steep spot in the hill. And then the snow conditions today weren't that great, where my dad hit a soft spot and a hard spot that threw the sled here. So we had to drag him, give him a ski pole to get him up, back running again. We come to several creek crossings as we go. This particular one is fairly wide, not super deep this time of year, but it's got a concrete bottom, so you're able to kind of move along at a pretty good clip, not worry too much as you go through. You can get water on your belt. On a long stretch like this, it'll stall your machine if you aren't careful or if you have venting in the wrong spot. Unfortunately, none of us had that issue. In this crossing, we had to move some big rock, and you'll kind of see it off to the right hand side as I go through here. You just have to watch as you navigate, because those rocks can hit things and do some damage if you're not careful. The thing we fought the most this particular trip was just the conditions of the snow and the lack thereof, but there's soft spots along trees, and as we're weaving up through here, you just had to really be on your game to make sure that your ski didn't get sucked in and pull you into like what they call a tree well. But it's just soft spots. Snow's not as dense around the base of the tree, and so as you get too close to a tree, it'll pull your skis in and can wreck you. As we go to this next crossing, you'll see this snow bike. He went across and hit a big rock and stopped him dead, and so that's just what I'm talking about. You have to really watch as you're going, because these rocks can really put a hurt on you. As I come through, you'll see we go through this little narrow split, and my ski gets kicked sideways because there's a big rock here, and normally we have snow we can cover on this, but I have to rock my snowmobile up to get that right ski up and over the top. And then as our before we make the final ascent up to the lake, we have this spot where it's our hardest spot to get lumber and plywood and things on our sleighs, because you come through the creek and it's fairly deep there at the last spot, and then you got to climb and keep your momentum to all the way to the top. And so it's just something we've worked on this trail a lot, and it's not got much better over the years. You just learn how to do it, and usually we'll have 2 or 3 guys on the other side to keep momentum going, help to push the snowmobile if we need. It's just a process to get us up to the top. The snow depth, as you'll see coming up here, it just isn't as deep as normal. You got down timber you're having to watch, and stumps. You just really have to watch that you're not hitting a big lump of snow thinking it's gonna just be snow, because there might be a rock or stump underneath. But then as we come across and get up to the lake, we have a 3-mile stretch of frozen lake that we have to ride across, and it always makes you a little bit nervous especially if you got a sleigh on the back of you with a bunch of stuff. But we hit this at a pretty good clip, hoping that the ice is still thick enough. You saw there at the beginning, there's a little open water where springs run in, and springs run in along the sides all along here, so you have to really watch, because you can hit thin spots if you're not careful. It's the lake we love in the summer, and it does provide a pretty flat stretch in the winter for us to get a lot of ground pretty quick, but there is some hazards with it. Once we got up to the end here, my dad had his belt must have had a little dry rot as we got warm with the stickiness of the snow and whatnot, and it broke apart, and maybe you saw the piece of black on the ice as we were going across, but we had to quickly change his belt there. Then the hillsides here are so steep and the creek weaves up close. This particular snow bike, he got too close to the edge, and then the crust broke and he slipped down in the creek and couldn't get him out, so we had to ride through the creek and come around. He was real helpful for us, because normally with a shovel we have to dig a trench for our right ski to go into. This time he was able to just traverse the hill, make us a trench, and I know these videos don't show how steep they really are, but you've got to watch. Then as we get to our last creek crossing before we get into camp, it's a steep descent down in, and we tried to make it more gradual, but the snow was deep enough in this spot, it had us in a bad way. So you'd hit and it'd stick you, and then you had to shake your sled a little bit. You're watching this other video, my dad, he got sucked, his snowmobile tipped because the way the snow was, he had to push it over with his foot. Then you'll see here he got stuck in the creek and then goosed it and spun down and really chewed that landing out. So on our way home we had to stop and make that ramp a little more gradual. But as we got into camp, we were able to check on everything, and snow levels just aren't what they normally are. That porcelain light switch or light fixture you see on that pole, the snow is either to the top of that or within a couple feet, 1.5 feet of the being to the top of it. This year, you can see we aren't there, but everything's still standing. Tent floors aren't broke. Outhouse is still good. You see Chad crawling, trying to get back to his sled. We ate some lunch quick in the sunshine, just a beautiful day. And then we headed for home. We left the trucks about 9 o'clock or a little after 9:30, and we didn't get home till 5, and it was just straight stretch of running and gunning, trying to get into camp and out before dark. Thankfully, everything was good in camp, but you know, if we need to, we have a trail now that'll be good for the next couple weeks probably. If we needed, we could bring some more gear in. One of the things you'll see as we're coming up here, we have a crossing that we made with logs, and we need to widen it because it's barely wide enough for your skis. But golly, it's a little scary as you get going. You'll see here coming up in this video, the crust, I break through the crust. It really slows my snow machine down as I pop that jump and threw me over the handlebars. But that's just what it was all day. We were fighting the snow conditions and got stuck several times because of it. It was a good workout. But then again, you look on the south slopes and we're bare. You know, we're just grateful for what snow we do have. Hopeful that we'll have a decent summer and good rains to help the grass grow. Just hope you enjoyed the trip as we went into camp and showed you what it's all about and how we get there.